Good everyone, welcome to today's video, and today it's a Spade review on the Crusader AA Mk1 anti-aircraft vehicle. Now, when I first started Spade this thing, I thought I was going to hate it. Normally I hate single-barreled, low fire rate vehicles that have to do anti-aircraft work. But to be honest, this thing has far surpassed my expectations. The reason for it is because this thing it does everything I want it to do in an SPAA. What do I mean by that? Well, it's got light enough armor so that most of the time shells are just going to go right through it and do no damage. Most of the time, mind you. Um, it's got a good turret traverse, so I can track targets easily. It's got reasonable turret armor, especially at the front, so that way I can take some shots from planes that are strafing me and all that. It's got a lethal gun. If you hit a plane with this gun, it's going down regardless. Unless it's a Russian one, because they seem to take the most, but we'll gloss over that. And the armor-piercing rounds can pen up to 71 millimeters of penetration at 10 meters. So it's got good penetration. Very good penetration for an anti-aircraft vehicle. So what's the armor like then? Well, obviously it's a Crusader chassis. Not much. I do apologize for that. My mum is going fucking crazy at the moment. But the frontal armor is 20 millimeters thick. The lower glacis is 20 millimeters thick. This can actually bounce around if it feels like it. Driver's area 18 millimeters. 50 millimeters of cast armor around the driver's visor. This is actually pretty trollish. I've seen people bounce off that. You've then got another 20 millimeter plate here, and this is where the weak armor begins. 9 millimeters on the turret basket. This is the turret basket, so this is what the crewmen stand on in the back. And this is only a 3-crew vehicle, so if you take a penetrating hit to the turret, you're probably going to die. Side armor, 14 millimeters. There is an additional layer of armor if you click on show off, or click off show external armor. There is an additional 14.27 millimeters of armor. Not really going to save you, but even so. Rear armor, 14 millimeters, with the lower part being 12. Side and rear of the turret, 12, with an open spot for the breech to be extracted from the vehicle should it need repairs, obviously in real life, or even a breech change. So overall, it doesn't seem to be too bad then, in terms of armor, and obviously the turret turns at 33.3 degrees a second, which isn't too bad at all. So what about belts? Well, here's my recommendation. Obviously, you can take up your own sort of idea. Normally, in these sort of low fire anti-aircraft vehicle, or low rate of fire anti-aircraft vehicles, I recommend a default. But no, I'm going to say you take separate belts. Specifically, 15 Mk2 HE belts and 5 M81 A1 AP rounds. The reason for it is because I just find the default rounds to be very mixed. Obviously, they are mixed. They're APT and HE. At least with these two, you can control whenever you want, and you might need to bust a tank with the AP round. The biggest tank I've killed with the AP round is a Panther who dropped his smoke and didn't expect me to bomb rush him just because I thought, fuck it, and I got around his side and managed to kill a tank, which was really lucky to be honest. Like I say, I don't recommend using this thing as a tank buster, but make sure to have some of these on standby just in case. It's only a rank 2 upgrade, so it's not too bad. But yeah, this is actually quite a bit of fun. Obviously, the next Spade review will be the Firecrest, obviously the Squadron vehicle. I'll go over that in the next one. And overall, this isn't actually that bad of a tank. I thought it was going to be bad, and it actually wasn't. It's also got a good backup lineup for itself. It's got the Churchill Mark 7, the Avenger, the Firefly. Obviously, I don't really like Firefly, but even so. And if you want to drag it up a little higher, there's the Comet, there's the Challenger, even the Centurion. There's some good vehicles for this thing to work with. But anyway, let's jump into the battle and let's have a look at what I got up to. This one's quite an old one because I haven't spaded I haven't finished spading the Cheery 2, which you saw on the replays folder. I freaking hate that tank, but we'll gloss over that. So, not Cheery 2, Crusader AA Mk1. What's my advice for it, for playing it? Well, you'll see what I do on certain maps. This being one of them. Certain maps you can afford to rush the cap with your team. And this is exactly what I'm gonna do. So see, at this point, I was carrying, according to that, 10 of each. I was not. I was not carrying 10 of each, I can assure you that. If I remember rightly, I was carrying 15 HE and 5 AP as I usually do, but I had the AP loaded first. So that's a bit of a replay bug. I don't remember carrying 10 of each because, well, 10 of each is a bit of a blessing and a curse sometimes. Either it's a replay bug or this is before I made the decision to go 15 hit and 5, respectively. So obviously you want to go in and obviously wait for your team, but this Jumbo decided not to. Neither did this Challenger, neither did the Firefly, because, well, they're idiots. We had more tanks coming to the capture zone, but I wanted to get in anyway. And, well, I just kept on going. So at this point, I'm loading the HE. Good reason for it. Obviously, I've got the cap now, so I can move on. There's a guy on the enemy team called Grace Elnis, and for some reason, he decides to not help his team at all and try to rush our spawn in an anti-aircraft truck, one of those milk trucks. You would have obviously seen the video for that thing by now, because I've been having to push it back just because I feel there's more important topics and like vehicles to discuss than me going ham in a milk truck, but you'll see that now. But there you can see he's on the mini-map now. He legit just rushed the spawn. I originally was going to load AP, but I think I switched to HE again in a moment once I realised what it is. And yep, I'm back to HE. It only takes about half a second to reload the next clip that you want to use. Now here's where it got a bit weird. He knew exactly where I was the moment I drove around the corner, but even so, HE rounds will devastate his anti-aircraft truck. Obviously you got the engine, you got the transmission, and you got one of my crew members. Now for some reason the replay is, for some reason it's got the Crusader's engine gunning it, even though the vehicle's engine is disabled, but even so. Like I said, I didn't really know how he knew I was coming, like, maybe he saw like a glimpse, but even then, he had tanks in front of him, surely he would be shooting those? But I'm sat here for a bit just waiting for the repair. The repair is quite long, especially when you've only got 2 crew. On 3 crew it's not much better, but obviously those 2 retards who, they both rushed in anti-aircraft trucks just to point out. They're going to be coming back in Stalin bolts. And these guys seem to do that a lot looking at their stat cards. They seem to love just rushing, dying, and coming back in P-47s. I honestly don't understand why, because you don't help your team at all. They both took the capture points for themselves, they didn't help their team at all, and they just did not help their own team. So I've got the HE loaded. The gun does take a bit of practice. This replay is taking place before I got fully practiced with the gun. Obviously I do get into the swing of things eventually, but what you've got to bear in mind is, this gun traditionally is, and he actually drops a 250 kilogram bomb on me. He somehow manages to nail the turret ring and nearly kill my last crew member with a bomb that missed me by at least 100 feet, but Russian bombs. Obviously, I'm like, oh great, my turret drives out. So I'm going to have to park this thing somewhere. And this is where I'm going to make a mistake. And recommendation for this vehicle, get the tracks upgrade as soon as you can. I believe it's this battle where I slide down this area. You're going to want to get your tracks upgraded because you will struggle to get up some areas in this vehicle. I think the turret traverse repair was like 30 seconds to like 40 seconds, so I'm just going to put it on 2 times speed. But yeah, here we are. This is where I slipped down, and I'm very close to drowning my engine and obviously being stuck there permanently. I know it looks like the engine's completely submerged. Gaijin didn't seem to think so, so I managed to get away with this barely. Obviously, in real life, this thing would have been drowned and I'd have been stuck there. But with the tracks upgrade, you'll get out of this sort of situation a lot easier. So do make sure to get that tracks upgrade as soon as possible. I've noticed that a lot on British vehicles, that they require the tracks upgrade to sometimes help them out. This is one of them. So obviously now that those Starling bolts have died, they are going to be coming back. Well, one of them's coming back in a P8, I believe, with the nuke, and well, they're not going to help their team. They just, I think they just do this for the lols. To be truthfully honest, they seem like those kind of guys. Obviously, I've seen the P8. He's coming in hot, and I'm just thinking, I know who that is. I'm fairly certain I know who it is. And, well, he's not helping his team by flying that low. Because we have M19s up and stuff like that. And obviously we've got me as well. Obviously I'm firing a couple of rounds down range. And he looked like he was lining up on me, to be truthfully honest, but I think the M19 nails him, not me. Oh, that was a bit of a bug. And yes, it was the M19 who nailed him. Like I say, you do need to practice with this gun. I recommend going into custom battles, practicing with your mates, or alternatively, just in general, practicing with like AI targets in custom battles. That's a recommendation. And just overall, you want to get practice with this tank. The 40mm Bofors is a... well, it can work. It's just... and there's a really annoying sound bug at the moment from that P8. Hold on, I think I've... no, I can't really fix it, unfortunately. In fact, I've got a way we can fix it. There's always a bloody sound bug, isn't there? That's fixed it. Good. Right, well, now that that's over and done with, obviously, now I'm identifying this aircraft as a Speed 2C Helldiver. But like I say, you do need to get practice with this gun. This gun takes a lot of practice, in my opinion. Practice always makes perfect, and you're gonna wanna just... even if it takes you a bit of time, even if you can't spade this vehicle for a while, just get practicing, because there are other vehicles that use the Bofors, such as the M19, the M42, and I believe one of the French anti-aircraft has it. I think it's the AMX-13 DCA 40 or DCA 30. That's the other one that uses a French copy of the Bofors. I think it's like a faster firing Bofors, if I remember rightly. But you're gonna just want to practice with it. This gun does take time, but I can assure you that once this gun hits an aircraft, it does that. First kill. Well, air kill. Obviously we've got the truck at the beginning. It only takes really 1 to 2 hits to down most aircraft in War Thunder. Simply due to how powerful this HE round is. But you've got to remember, you've only got 160 rounds total, and your fire rate's pretty slow. Just bear that in mind, otherwise you will not have a good time on this tank. Obviously I'm opening up on this dough now. It does take quite a bit of lead, but eventually you will get there, and well, there you go. Dough 217 down. That's the sort of firepower you can bring to the party, and even though this thing's battered, I mean, you can see the tank itself is just battered, the crew members are wounded except for the driver. But this is a really good vehicle. It just takes practice. So what did I think of the Crusader AA Mk1? Well, like I say, it's a good vehicle. It just takes a lot of practice, in my opinion. And obviously that tracks upgrade will help a lot. Obviously I didn't have it in this battle. But eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to be mastering the Bofors, and well, something like this M19 would be no problem at all for you. Obviously, this guy's going ham against the KV2, not recommended, but even so. And like I say, it's a good vehicle, but most of the time it's played by bad teams. As for my stats in the vehicle, as we'll just quickly jump to, 23 deaths, most of those are from tanks, to be truthfully honest, because my teams just die all the time. 48 air kills, 23 ground. It can work. It is a good vehicle. It just takes a lot of practice. But like I say, I highly recommend people pick this thing up. Like I say, it's not as good as the Crusader AA Mk2. I think the Mk2 is more player friendly, simply due to its ammo count and the enclosed turret. If you're looking for more of a player friendly vehicle, the AA Mk2 is better. If you're looking for something that can down an aircraft in a single hit and can bust tanks a lot better, this is your vehicle. Anyway, hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you all on the next one.